Finally, Bishop and Marlene, at the clergy conference in Edinburgh, I was called upon to say some words on behalf of the clergy of the diocese. We are good at speaking, but today it's the turn of the laity, as is right and proper, to have the last word. So I'd like to invite Carol Woolstenholme, Chair of the House of Laity, to say a few words on behalf of us all within the diocese.
Bishop Martin, Marlene, and guests, friends, and particularly the Wharton family here today. I stand here in some fear and trepidation because I know Bishop Martin and Marlene don't like a fuss, and particularly don't like a fuss when they're the focus of the fuss. However, Bishop, I do have to say to you, it's all your fault that I'm standing here today. It is one of your many gifts to include us in your ministry and to encourage us to have a voice and the opportunity to serve with you. So don't blame me. You've encouraged me too much. On the floor of my office this week, there's been many sheets of discarded ideas as I attempted to try and find the right words to celebrate God's gracious love through what you've given to us and your achievements as a bishop. I did think about speaking of your international role in the Anglican Communion, or your national role in the House of Bishops and the House of Lords, as a significant leader in the region and the county. Then I thought, what about your work in the communities with refugees and asylum seekers, in the People's Kitchen, your relationships with faith leaders in the city, with flood victims in the county? I remembered your relationship with all of us teaching at conferences, synods and councils, and for the way you've led people at pilgrimages in the Holy Land, for putting your head over the parapet from now and again on contentious issues. And I won't spoil today by mentioning wind farms. I wondered for the direction of this diocese and the goodwill that you've engendered between us, for the way you've taught us to pray and worship. My list grew, but in the end, all my ideas were abandoned for just saying two things about why we're here in such numbers. First of all, I think we're gathered here today because you are our bishop, and the emphasis is on our. And during 17 years, you've become a part of our lives. Someone I think we feel is part of our DNA in the Northeast. And for Geordies, that's quite an achievement. And I think the hour is not about what you've achieved as a bishop, but rather what you are as a person, made in God's image, that we celebrate today. Our bishop, who knows the name of the people in the kitchen making the tea at a confirmation. A bishop who can be found sneaking out of meetings to have a pipe with the smokers. An inclusive bishop who makes time for us all. Our bishop is wise, generous and warm, and he understands us. But most of all, our bishop has not told us what to do, he's shown us how to do it. The second thing I want to say is to celebrate the ministry of Marlene. I'm going to tell you a story about Marlene. I once went to the House of Lords with Marlene, as you do. I was somewhat awed by the grandeur of the place. And as we neared the debating chamber, a splendidly dressed usher with lace, black and white, appeared, and he said to Marlene, Good evening, my lady. It's good to have you back. Well, my first reaction was, wow, how important Marlene is. My second reaction was to think, she's not his lady, she's ours. She is our Marlene, a woman in her own right, who many will have experienced knocking on doors with a welcoming plant or flower. A woman who organises a large house. I'm not sure whether she organises the bishop within that house, but you might ask her yourself. She entertains graciously and is sensitive to all our needs. We like to see her at functions because she's the sort of person we like to talk to. So today, Bishop Martin and Marlene, we celebrate with you. We thank God for your example of how Christians should live. And we particularly thank you for who you are as much as what you've achieved. We will remember your ways of doing things and for what you've given us. And I think your legacy will live long in the way we do things in Newcastle Diocese. We wish you Godspeed to your new future. And I'm honoured to give you this cheque on behalf of the people of Newcastle.
Give it to you. Thank you very much. Probably going to sit down. I don't want to stay up now. Well, friends, I really don't recognize myself in all these things that have been said about me at all, but the only appropriate words to say are thank you from the bottom of our hearts. 17 years is a long time to have been bishop. Someone said to me the other day that they thought it was the longest time anyone has ever been Bishop of Newcastle. I didn't know that. And when I think back, you see, when I came here, there was no Sage and no Baltic and no Millennium Bridge, and the fabric of the city has changed remarkably over that time. When I came, or since I came, Newcastle United's had 11 managers. And there have been, I think, 5 vice-chancellors, 4 bishops of Durham, and it's lovely to see you here, Paul, today. I think, Nick, 5 leaders of the City Council too, since I came in at the end of '97. So it probably is, friends, time for us to go, but we're not going very far because we're only going a few miles down the road to Durham City. Anything that we've been able to do because we've done it together. And it seems to me that that is the only way in the end that we're going to achieve anything, by a church which is engaged with its people in its communities, working with them together. Thank you for all you've been to us. Thank you for the encouragement, love and support you've always given to us. And above all, we send you on your way with God's blessing on all that lies ahead. I've had some wonderful colleagues while I've been here. The senior team have put up with my foibles and eccentricities over the years, remarkably, actually. And the clergy have been wonderful. And please treasure your clergy, some of whom are really doing quite outstanding acts of service in all our communities. So I think we're in good heart as a church and as a diocese. Please support Bishop Frank and the Dean and Archdeacons as they continue to lead the diocese into the future. We probably won't have a new Bishop of Newcastle till early 2016. There's a long consultative process to be gone through before the next appointment is made, and I can't think of any better place where a new bishop will come than this wonderful Diocese of Newcastle, for which I have been enormously blessed. Thank you very much indeed.